Thanks for turning in to another episode of In Case You Missed It. This is episode number 3, and let's dive on into some news that you might have missed. NFT sales down 92% from 2021, according to Wall Street Journal. So, the overall NFT sales dropped from 225,000 from September 2021 to a daily average of 19,000. So 19,000 units versus 225,000 units a day. Um, and as we can see in, I believe, episode 1, we talked about Jack Dorsey's tweet, where Jack Dorsey's first tweet was sold at auction for $2.9 million in 2021. In April, it was put back on auction, and it was expected to get $48 million, or that's what the reserve was. And they didn't get no offers more than $14,000, which is a huge reduction in the value of that NFT. Another example was a Snoop Dogg designed NFT that was bought for $32,000 last year, 2021. It was put back up for auction and didn't receive offers of more than $200. Again, a significant reduction. Does this mean that NFTs are done for? I don't think so. I think that last year was a period of exuberance, and now people are needing to tighten their belt buckles because inflation is crazy. The pending threat of a recession is coming. And sometimes just the threat of a recession may trigger a recession because people start to hoard their cash. We may see that happen this time. We're not sure. But the utility of an NFT, I don't think is going anywhere. I think, if anything, will be enhanced in the future, like the blockchain has exploded. Let's go on to our next story. The longest career at one job. So Walter Orthman, he holds the world record for the world's longest employee with one employer. He has been with the same employer for 84 years. So Orthman was actually hired a year before World War II. He was just 15 years old, which makes him a centenarian now. He started as a shipping assistant and was promoted to sales, which he remains in that current position today. That's a long time to be in the same job. 84 years? Come on. And to be honest, I don't even think that we are in the age where loyalty is rewarded anymore. This man probably got a pension full of millions of dollars. I'm not sure. The article didn't state that. The article that I did read. However, this was in Brazil, so I guess some job is no better than no job. And then again, it also goes into this article made me wonder, like, is he continuing to work out of necessity, or is it just fun? The article didn't really go over that either. But I mean, that's pretty cool. He was at the same job for 84 years, which is longer than most people live. Like, life expectancy is like 72 or 73 years, maybe a little bit more. But this dude was at the same job for 84 years. That's pretty insane. Let's move on to the next article. The Twitter takeover. It was challenged. So Elon's Twitter takeover was challenged in a shareholder lawsuit. The lawsuit was filed in Delaware Chancery Court by the Orlando Police Department pension fund. And it states that Elon cannot complete the takeover until 2025 unless 2/3 of shares not owned by him approve the takeover. Twitter did take the poison pill, which reduced the amount that a shareholder could potentially own at one time for the lockup period, which was about 3 years. So that means that Elon could not outright buy Twitter. So we will see if this takeover actually happens, just because it's a logistical nightmare at this point. And we'll see if it's even worth the fight for Elon, seeing that he's the CEO of like Tesla, Starlink, and I believe he's also the CEO of another company. And if he was to take over Twitter, he would be the CEO of Twitter in the interim, which may turn in forever. Um, that definitely can't make the Tesla shareholders happy. But we'll see if it happens. And let's move on to the next article. The next article, U.S. unemployment sits at 3.6%, which is a pandemic low. The U.S. added 428,000 jobs in April of 2022, and unemployment stayed at 3.6%, which is a pandemic low. Uh, the labor market has added 6.5 million jobs over the last year and is on track to hit pre-pandemic levels by summer of 2022, to be more specific, which is amazing. The recovery has been a lot better than expected, seeing as also that the pandemic is still kind of going on. There are countries that still don't allow tourism, like Japan. China recently went into a lockdown. They might have come out of lockdown. Who knows what they're doing at this time? Um, but it's really touch and go. There's still supply chain issues, but unemployment for U.S. is pretty low, which is a great thing for now. We will see if we do end up in a recession, what happens from there. Let's go on to the next article, and this is the last article, which is the biggest interest rate bump in 20 years. So the Fed decided to bump the interest rates. This happened on Wednesday, and this was the biggest rate hike in 20 years. The central bank raised its benchmark by 0.5%, following a 0.25% raise in March. All this interest rate rising is an attempt to fight inflation and bring supply and demand back into balance. Jerome Powell also did mention that 0.5% raises in the next couple of meetings are still on the table. Um, he did emphasize that he wanted to bring inflation down and bring supply and demand more in conjunction, because inflation is too hot. It's been the hottest it's ever been in 40 plus years. So he wants to start fighting that. Although some people do believe that the Fed is taking action too late. I mean, they were damned if they do and damned if they don't, especially with the recovery from the pandemic, but showing such strong job numbers, they felt safer in hiking rates faster. If this is to continue, we will see. There's also a lot of other things like the Ukraine-Russia war, and that had tremendous effect on energy prices, as well as some food prices. I know wheat went up. So, basically in the press conference, the FOMC press conference, Jay Powell was just saying, hey, we're going to play it by ear, but we do expect to raise interest rates. He also did mention that he thought that a 0.75% rate hike was too much, and that 0.5% seems to be the magic number for now. That may change in the next meeting, but we shall see. If you want to read the full articles that I read in order to put this together, they will be in the description below. I want to thank you all for watching, and tune in to the next episode to see things you might have missed.